Welcome back. We're continuing on authserver.net. We need to add in our refresh token endpoint right here. This is the only thing that we haven't done yet. So if the authorization server issued a refresh token to the client, you can make a refresh request to the token endpoint by adding these grant types. So what I want to do is I want to look at my token endpoint. This includes basic auth for client ID and client secret. And that's fine. So this bit of code here is fine. Then what I want to do is I want to get the client, which is true because there's, what is wrong with this board? Because there's only one client now, which is here. And then because we've received it, I can now have my grant type here for the case refresh token. So we don't care about the client like this. No type check for client. Need, we're going to say verify requested scopes match original scopes. And I want to do this by, we can do a JWT service.decode token. Just a second. Because I need the scopes of the token. We're refreshing it. So the scopes that they passed in here need to match what's on the request token. So when I look at the request token over here, a refresh token, this is only attached to an application user. Now, similar to authorization code, I think we also need this to have a GUID for the client ID. And this is going to have a number of these refresh tokens. And I also want to make sure that it has a scopes on it. So now when I do my data access layer dot get refresh token asynchronous, we want to first say that if my request.form.try get value of refresh token if this fails, we want to return bad request. And we're going to say that this one is a access denied. Invalid request. And so we're going to get this now for the refresh token. Now, before I go any further, let me look at the data access layer for where we have the get refresh token. Here, here, like that. And then here's the update. So where this is being called for the add, I want to add in here my new client ID and the scopes. Okay, and in the update, client ID scope says the same. So now, the reason I'm pausing is I'm looking at the way scopes are being generated here. Because we can just do this again down here. And I'll clean this up. So if you're able to get scopes, then what I want to do is I want to get my scope split again like this. And those are what's being requested. And then I want to get the next one, which is my refresh token entity dot scopes split. Now I want to do for each var item in scopes split if entity scopes split doesn't have anywhere so you could say contains item, then you want to do return bad request invalid scope. And then you want to do it the other way for each var item in entity scope split. If scope split doesn't contain the item, then you want to bad request invalid scope. And now we want to issue this. So if my refresh token entity is equal to null, then I want to do a invalid request. Okay, so now when we actually do the refresh, what I want to do is we're going to get the refresh token here. And now I want to set the refresh token entity.revoked to be datetime.utc now. The revoked by IP equals my IP address. The refresh token entity.replaced by token is going to be equal to. So here I want to do a JWT service.generate token. No, if I look at this, I want this to do this generate refresh token. So we want this to be a public. And we're going to pass in here the IP address. The user is the refresh token entity.application user ID. The client is client.id. The scopes are scopes. And the expiration time in days is client.refresh token expiration in days. Okay, we want to await this. So this new token I'm going to change this. And I'm going to have a prop GUID refresh token. We're going to say replaced by token ID. And we'll call that a GUID. And we're going to say that this is a refresh token. And we want this to be nullable. So like that. I need to add to my notes over here. Correct transaction, application, DB context, lifespans over services. And then I want to do context, so data access layer dot refresh, add refresh token called when you did this generate refresh token, this saves it, right? That's what I'm talking about with going in and correcting some of this. So this is going to be update refresh token with my refresh token entity. And then, now that's done, we've received the new refresh token. But we actually want to generate a whole new token. So we can change this to be back to being protected. We want to do a generate token, which is my client scopes RT state you can use this application user and then IP address. And you want to get that now of my new token.token. Like that. And then you're going to update it. And then you want to do a return OK of my new token. That's it. So let's rebuild the project. So now this one says that when I'm generating my refresh tokens, I need to pass in scopes. But I'm actually going to do this here and then do a var scopes split equals scopes dot split by my space. Like that. So that way I can add scopes in right here. We also need to have client ID, which I have already here as client.id. So now where I'm doing this, I want to have that like that. And then again here. And then again here. That one. That one. This is just called decode token. And we'll rebuild it. Cool. So that all worked, which is nice. I'm going to add all my notes over here. Connect resource server to audience of client. Okay. So let's test it. So up here on my client, for my authorization code grant, when I receive the token here, now I want to say check refresh token. So we're going to make another set of these, and it's going to be a grant type called refresh token. My refresh token is going to be response.refresh token. Scope we don't have. Now, I can pass this either as either type, so this will be fine. And then I want to make a new request message, which is a post. And then I want to get the result. And if my result is a success code, then I want to do my JSON convert.deserialize object type of token response of my await result.content.read as string asynchronous. There we go. Okay. And we'll start watching it here. So here we go for the test. Okay, so over here, this is the one we're working on. We want to go to authorization code index. There it is. We can enter the credentials that we've set up. It said could not retrieve token. Let's try it again. Okay, we send the request out. We get our client. We generate our token. It is not a successful response code. So the reason why this is failing is because we've changed the database. So let's delete this and create a new migration. We'll do an add migration and we'll call it a init. And I'll put my output directory to be data migrations. And then we can run it. User tokens. That's got a constraint on user ID login provider. And we want to do author that one. Okay, we'll do the redirect, kick it back, do the login. Kick this thing through. We do get a successful response code. I get my response, which includes the refresh token. We send that across. Let's check it. It is a refresh token. We receive the entity. We don't have a scope. We generate a new token and a new refresh token. we revoke the old one and update it, and then we send back the new token. And there it is. And if I was to do a JWT decode, there we go. So that's it for a refresh endpoint. Okay, so I'm out of time for today. What we're going to do is we're going to come back tomorrow in the morning. Let's say that we'll start at like 9 a.m. PST. And what we're going to do is we need to add in the remaining pieces for the third-party auth. And then I want to do some structure changes on this project because it's really hacky the way that things are written right now and really spaghetti. So I'm going to separate the logic into different clients, and then those are going to contain each of the logic. Those are actually the entities that we've already created. And then we're going to clean the request and the response objects so that way if somebody wanted to add Swagger to this, it would be really easy. We're going to separate the packages and get everything ready to go for NuGet. And then we need to have just a couple of things in here where we have a service to remove any of the expired tokens. And then we need another service to, or not a service, but we need to correct the transaction because right now with the application database context, it's not making one transaction. It's multiple transactions per API call. So we need to modify that. And then finally, we need to connect our resource server to our client, and we set that relationship up, but we don't have it implemented yet. The one thing I wanted to do was let's take one quick peek before we go at the authserver.net refresh tokens. And you can see replaced by token, which is this one. So that internal loop is working just fine. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of tokens because this relationship is going to be there indefinitely. So anyways, thanks again for staying with me. I'll put this up on the GitHub and this video up on YouTube. And also, if you have any questions, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com is a great place. And have a great rest of your evening. Bye, guys.